A very good evening and welcome back from the presidential nominations, tensions, entertainments, and the day went on with a lot happening in the scene that we will be bringing you during the news. But first, let's go look at the headlines and we'll be back with the details of the presidential nominations.
In our top stories tonight, Yoweri Kaguta Tibahabura Museveni nominated first. Yellow Camp takes celebration to Munyonyo. John Katumba and Linda Nancy Kalembe dropped by Electoral Commission. And in the world of sports, Joshua Cheptegei's 5,000-meter record finally officiated.
Should be expected. Our news is going to be filled with stories of presidential nominations and how the day went as people prepared themselves to see who would be nominated and who would not be nominated. Now moving straight to our story, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Lieutenant General Henry Tumukunde and Major General Mugisha Muntu have been duly nominated to run for presidential elections come 2021. These three were today confirmed by the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Justice Simon Mugenyi Byabakama at the Chambogo University. Two other aspirants, John Katumba and Nancy Kalembe, were however rejected by the Commission for failure to meet the demands. Let's look at the story.
The race 2021 for the presidency of Uganda has today been kick-started. This morning, hundreds of people today gathered here at the Chambogo playgrounds. Today, the first candidate was President Yoweri Museveni, who was escorted by a contingent and members from the National Resistance Movement.
General Simon, being the returning officer for the nomination of presidential candidates, hereby declare that Yoweri Museveni Kaguta, a duly nominated candidate in respect of the presidential elections 2021, having fulfilled the nomination requirements under the Presidential Elections Act 2005 as amended.
I want to thank the Electoral Commission for nominating me as the flag bearer of the National Resistance Movement for the coming presidential elections. I want to thank my nominators who are here, Gaddafi, Nasur, there, and Seku. And before...
Please tell us what you have managed to connect with the president in regards to securing the future of Ugandans as he has put out in his slogan.
First of all, we are looking at industrializing the country. The biggest problem or challenge of the young people right now is unemployment. Many are educated, many uneducated young people are not employed. And he has always said the basis for industrializing Uganda is good infrastructure, is having a lot of electricity, and you know we have electricity actually in
our own resources to be able to run our own country without depending on foreigners and foreign debt. Our promise to Ugandans is very, very simple. We shall operate so much on the subject of infrastructure. We shall spend quite a lot of time on energy.
Yes, Lieutenant General Henry Tumukunde has been duly nominated and is also the second candidate to be confirmed by the Electoral Commission. What you're witnessing behind, he's now inspecting his new guard that will guide him during the campaign period. We are now waiting for the other three candidates yet to be nominated. Well, the presidential aspirant who had a dramatic trek to Chambogo University for his nomination, John Katumba, who eventually had a flat tire, has not been nominated by the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission, after carrying out thorough investigations, found out that John Katumba did not pay the mandatory 20 million shillings he was supposed to. To know how prepared are you for this election?
Ready to be nominated today, ready to go for the campaigns in the 60 days, ready to win, and ready to be able to take over and manage power.
Okay.
Being the returning officer for the nomination of presidential candidates, declare that Mugisha Muntu Greg, the duly nominated candidate in respect of the presidential elections 2021, having
that the vehicle given to the candidate is non-returnable. Maybe we'll fight for better ones.
I believe that we are starting a new chapter in this country. I believe that this day, in this 9th hour of this month, of this year, that a new era is starting.
The Commission welcomes you, aspiring candidate.
Today marks the end of day one of the presidential nominations, and renowned candidates such as Major General Mugisha Muntu, Lieutenant General Henry Tumukunde, and the President himself, Museveni, have been confirmed as candidates in the race for the presidency. Tomorrow, another group of 5 candidates will be coming here at Chambogo University for nominations. I'm Suhail Mugevi reporting for STV.
Well, yellow, orange, and purple, a bus, a clock, and a bulb. Those are the 3 that have been confirmed come 2021, and we will be seeing those on the ballot papers. Now, NRM, clad in yellow and driven in the yellow bus, came to Chambogo to get nominated. But when they arrived, they did not stay there. They actually moved forward and went to Speak Resort Munyonyo to launch their manifesto. We have that story. Let's take a look and we'll be back.
Next is Commissioner Peter Emerald, Commissioner. And then next is Commissioner Natalie Etomalo, member of the Commission. The chairperson has already talked to us, we've heard from him, Justice Simon Benjavakama. And the Deputy Chairperson, Najat Aisha Lubega. And next to the Secretary, extreme right, is Commissioner Haji Mustafa Chikozi Sevagala. We have apologies from Commissioner Honorable Stephen Tashola, who is not able to be with us. He lost a father just a few days ago. The family is still going through that time. So once again,
the first day of nominations comes to an end with expected tension. However, we did not have the tension that was expected in these nominations like everybody thought it was going to be. Now, 5 candidates were nominated today and only 3 went through and 2 did not. Nancy Kalembe and John Katumba failed to go through this time during the nominations. Hopefully, next time in 2026, they'll be able to go through the nominations. We have the story.
The presidential nominations that have commenced today at Chambogo Cricket Grounds saw different candidates come in and out after being nominated by Electoral Commission. Among those that have succeeded are the incumbent president, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of NRM, Mugisha Muntu of ANT, General Henry Tumukunde, an independent. On the other hand, Nancy Kalembe and John Katumba have not made it through as Electoral Commission seized them from continuing with other proceedings with their interest for presidency. According to Electoral Commission, they lacked tin numbers, an indication of invading taxes.
English. Yes, I am fully nominated. Nedda baganya okunominatinga nga ensonga gye boogerako nsonga si buzibu bwange kubanga maze ebbanga nga mpandikira akakiiko k'ebyokulonda nga nkagamba kanyigiriza nnyo okunemesa okusasula ssente mu banka. Akakiiko k'ebyokulonda katugamba tulina okusasula ssente mu banka nga tulina kye bayita tini namba. Tini namba eyo bagiwa omuntu ng'ayingiza bwe bagamba alina ekitongole kyakolera oba ng'alina kampani. Ngezezzaako okwogerezeganya ne mwami byabakama alabe ng'agonzagonzaamu mu nsonga ng'eyo mbawe ssente zaabwe. Ssente zaabwe nzize nazo naye nazo baziganye. Kati simanyi oba tunayogerezeganya n'ab'ekiro oba olw'eggulo so that banfunira amagezi amalala engeri gye mbawamu ssente.
Other candidates awaiting nominations include Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu NUP, Patrick Oboy Amuri at FDC, among others. Shamira Nagawa, STV Select News.
Well, seems like John Katumba still has hope of being on that ballot paper. Well, we pray for him. If he is meant to be on that ballot paper, he'll get a solution to that problem. Now, moving forward from that story, we, the STV team, did not stick and confine ourselves in Chambogo, but we moved towards the streets and asked people what they hope that their presidential aspirants will do for them come 2021. And we have the details to that story as well.
A total of 5 presidential aspirants today underwent the due process of being nominated by Electoral Commission, with only one candidate being rejected. STV took to the streets to inquire from Ugandans what their expectations are of this presidential aspirant.
Yes, this moment takes me back to...
Democracy has been the most sought-for need among the population.
Democracy. Ekyo kikulu. Nebyo babaka abangi mu parliament nga tebalina kye batukolera, of which 70% ba movement olaba nga omulama gwabyo tewali. Then amalwaliro okubaamu eddagala, abasawo okukola ku nsonga zaabwe, ba lecturers mu universities ez'enjawulo, amasomero emisalo okubongeza abasomesa. Zensonga enkulu zeyandisoose okukolako.
Waliwo obutali bwenkanya mu ggwanga. Abali b'enguzi bayitiridde obungi. Democracy taliiwo.
Others also expected increase in jobs, especially for the youth.
Soso omukulembeze gy'abasooka okutuyamba atukolereko addako baaliko kyonna yandisoose n'afanya ku bavubuka tebalina mirimu. Ensonga emu emirimu tewali. N'ekirala bandifudde nnyo okulaba ku bantu abayivu abasomye bwe baba bavudde mu kusoma ddala emirimu gye bagenda okukola zimakinga ne ssente.
For more basic human rights like improving medical care, that is a priority.
Amalwaliro go tugalina naye tulina obuzibu bw'eddagala. Amalwaliro weegali naye amalagala tegaliimu. Kati ensonga eyo nayo gavumenti eddako oba eriko ngezzeeko yandibadde efuba nnyo ne kweyo ensonga.
Ugandans are hopeful that these issues can be worked on if a leader is pro-people.
Bingi bisibiddwako kalantiini abantu tebeetaaya. Kati nga ffe abasuubuzi abali e Kampala abo
basibyeko karantini betubula okujja okusupportinga business zaffe kati baba tebazze kitegeeza business tetambula.
The presidential aspirants that were nominated today include Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the incumbent and interim flag bearer, retired General Mugisha Muntu for the Alliance for National Transformation, and General Henry Tumukunde as an independent. Carol Tumwine for Select News.
Democracy, unemployment, and a lot of other issues that people feel should be sorted out by the presidential aspirants. Now, let us take you back to what the NRM party wrote in their nomination, what they wrote in their nominations and what they wrote in their manifesto for us to understand if they will be doing what people are asking of them.
In preparations for the 2021 general elections, the incumbent President Yoweri Museveni is among the candidates that were nominated today as a presidential candidate. Museveni arrived in the company of his wife and other top government officials like Ruhakana Rugunda, Justin Kasule Lumumba, Emmanuel Dombo and Moses Chigongo, among others. He observed all the SOPs and went through the process successfully.
Traditionally, over the past few times when we've had nominations, we've been doing a handshake.
The Electoral Commission for nominating me as the flag bearer of the National Resistance Movement for the coming presidential elections. I want to thank my nominators who are here. Gaddafi, Nasur, there, and Sekou.
Museveni thereafter proceeded to the Speak Resort in Munyonyo, where he released his manifesto for the coming general elections to a number of invited guests. Museveni was the first candidate to get nominated. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was born in September 15, 1945, and he is a Ugandan politician who has been president of Uganda since 1986, making 35 years in power. Museveni was involved in rebellions that toppled Uganda's leaders, Idi Amin and Milton Obote, before he captured power in the 1980s.
We will go for a break. However, before we go for a break, there's an update from the Zimbabwe District Woman Member of Parliament, Babikola Zaitun, who has written to the Electoral Commission withdrawing from the Woman Member of Parliament seat. Remember that she was registered under the National Unity Platform Party, but now she has said that her name needs to be striked from the Electoral Commission list. Now we'll go for a break and we'll come back with more details.
You're watching STV, Select for Fun.
Abalamuzi babagamba, if the incumbent president frustrates all democratic means to leave power, temusibayo muntu n'omukutwiza. This is why basically is released. Museveni ekibi kyalina talina mawulire. Nawandika n'ekitabo kyange the role of witchcraft in the malicious society sapule njijjamu
noyingira sabo
katonda wa bujja nze katonda w'obujja bw'oba olaga eri sapule twegitwala omusajja omubbi bamujja ewuwe ewaka kabanga lyezi ne bamujja ewuwe ewaka yabadde mu ttooyi naye tebamukkiriza na tusanatayizi bamutadde buteesi mu piikaavu mu State House naye omukyayina bwe yawulidde nti ono bamukutte yeesize kiwi yayitiddeko yadduse ng'omuddugavu.
Wait for the Age at 9 p.m. prime time every Sunday.
The news has literally become suck-click for what happens in Gulu, Mbale, Kampala and elsewhere is the same. My job is to tell the story on what happened, where, who did it, how they did it and probably why they did it. Join me every single weekday as I break down those big stories that make rounds of headlines only on Select News. With me, Simon Chris Makanga.
You're watching STV Select for Fun.
Well, welcome back from that break and thank you for staying with us. And we have more information and more updates from the nominations. Now, moving forward, bullets were fired in downtown Chiseka, Kampala, when police was trying to put things in order after NRM supporters' procession was intercepted by Chiseka traders.
9 a.m., supporters of the National Resistance Movement were thronging downtown streets in celebration after their flag bearer, Yoweri Kaguta Tibuhaburwa Museveni, was duly nominated by the Electoral Commission. This didn't, however, go down well when traders of Chiseka Market started throwing stones at the Yellow Camp in interception. With the situation seemingly running out of hand, police were forced to fire live bullets to disperse angry traders who had turned rowdy and violent, evidently turning the market into a battlefield with access to some roads getting cut off. In their own words, the traders showed their discomfort about the procession by the NRM, describing it as a disruption of business.
Processions, but the police can eminent dua. The Katumba party, the Kobatanga minimum jaffe, Waita over to the Kanya, Minembe jaffe, and the police can eminent dua. The Katuba Konga Mateka Gakorachi, the Garagina. I have a holding up processions. You want to have it for that? I need to write down what the Dwaba for. One of the time when I was raised, I tried to get over the race.
In our phone interview with Luke Owesigire, he confirmed 3 were arrested in this fracas.
What happened is a group of people started planting stones at MRM supporters, and police had to intervene. 3 people were arrested and are currently staying here.
The nomination process for the presidential aspirants commenced today and will continue tomorrow, with more aspirants being nominated, including Robert Chagulanyi aka Bobby Wine of NUP, Patrick Amuriat Oboy of FDC, Joseph Chiza Kableta, Fred Mwesije and Willie Mayambala. Carrot Mwine, Edith Nawagereka for Select News.
Well, thank you, Carol and Edith Nabagereka, for that report. Now, political tensions rise each day as Ugandans gear up for the 2021 general elections. Today, candidates aspiring for the highest office in the country have been nominated amid chaos between supporters. NUP has, on that note, called for a peaceful nomination tomorrow, as has been most of the time today. Bobi Wine, also known as Robert Chagulanyi, has agreed to work in line with guidelines and routes decided upon by the Electoral Commission.
Friends have been reaching out to me, advising me not to spend the night at my house, giving me intel that there's a planned raid at my house, there's a plan to kidnap me, abduct me, or make any effort to block me from going to the nomination. I want to make this categorically clear that I will spend the night at my house with my family. And tomorrow, I will leave my house with my wife and a few friends heading to the nomination center in Chambogo. I'm not going to hide from nobody. I'm not a criminal. I'm a free Ugandan. Where the police and other security agencies are behaving, you've all noticed the blocked roads coming to our offices and leaving. They've also deployed unnecessarily everywhere. And I want to believe that is to intimidate Ugandans. As it has been the character of this regime and all despots, there has been intimidation. We also have information that the regime intends to switch off power and black out the entire country tomorrow. We know that they will raise any kind of excuse for blacking out the country, but I want to prepare your minds, fellow Ugandans, because President Museveni and his decadent regime cannot bear the sight of Ugandans chanting freedom.
I'm here to make it categorically clear that as young people, this time we are not just going to look on. This is the time for you to stop threatening us, to stop the torture, to stop the brutality. When you think you're only going to tear gas us as young people, as the alternative who are going to take you on, beginning from tomorrow, please, I beg you to think twice. Is to let us be free, just like you've let Yoweri Kaguta Museveni be free with his supporters. Not to do that, we are ready, just as you've said that you are ready for us.
Well, a very strong statement from NUP there, and we're hoping to see what will happen tomorrow during their nominations. Now, we'll go through the COVID-19 updates from yesterday to see where the country stands with COVID-19. Now, yesterday we had 228 new cases of COVID-19, which brought the cumulative COVID-19 cases in Uganda to 12,971 and still rising. The cumulative deaths to date are 114, and 2 new deaths were registered as of yesterday, and the cumulative recoveries to date are 7,556, bringing the total COVID-19 samples tested to date to 554,711 tests. Now, we see that the numbers are increasing every day, and that is only telling you that you need to be careful when you're dealing with COVID-19, and during these nominations, make sure that you have your sanitizer with you, make sure that you have your mask, and take care of yourself. Now, we'll go for a break, and we will be back with details that concern the business fraternity. Stay tuned.
You're watching STV. Select for fun.
Credible, bold and accurate. You can trust us to add professional context and in-depth analysis to the web of current affairs every week. Share an experience with those that saw it happen. A blend of opinions from journalists, subject experts, and involved participants. The Newsroom, breaking down the weekly top stories. Join us at 9:30 p.m. every Saturday, only on STV. Thinking security, here is your #1 security solution provider, Cyclops Defense Systems. We specialize in a wide range of security solutions for individuals, companies, schools and businesses, such as security systems, cybersecurity, executive concierge, child protection, investigation, data protection, defense training, carrier self-custody, among others. We also have accessories such as investigation pens and glasses. Find us at Plot 2 Mvira Lane, Apartment 2B, Kololo.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
Back to the bulletin now. Moving forward, on the 27th of October 2020, the Court of Appeal said they would make a judgment today to determine whether Diamond Trust Bank refunds an equivalent of 120 billion shillings to businessman Hamid Chigundu. Now we have the details to that story.
Senior application number 846 of 2020, Diamond Trust Bank Uganda Limited. The applicants, Randstad Sebufu Osama.
Ms. Mbabazi Emergent, the company secretary and head lead of the applicant.
Any order, whether in the High Court or Magistrate Court, which is required to be drawn up, shall be prepared and signed in the right manner. Execution, therefore, was a big possibility, hence a risk. The rest of the orders will require an application for execution as a condition precedent
of the judgment of the commercial court, where we won against the two banks, DTBs. The court has granted the stay on several grounds, but among the key grounds is that there are triable issues which need to go on appeal for the Court of Appeal to decide.
Afunya bwenkanya kuva mu banka zino. Izidi nti fena tetuli bakozi nga bannayuganda oba structures, systems and policies eziri wano maaso zinfu tezisobozesa ffe nga bannayuganda kukola genda maaso. Kyamukisa mulungi ndi musuubuzi naye ate era ndi lawyer. Nasalawo ekintu kino kinogere ddagala oluvannyuma lw'okusanga nti banka ya Diamond Trust Bank yajja ssente ezisoba mu 1,200 okuva ku akawunti yange nga saabawa lukisa zijjako wabula nga baazijjako mu lukujjukujju mu bbanga lya myaka 10. Ssente zange ate ebintu byebakola biri irigo, ssente zaffe bajja zituddiza nga bannayuganda, ate ne bannayuganda abasigadde mwenda mbakubira omulanga mulekeraawo okwetya tuyimirire eggwanga lyattu Uganda nga bwe tugamba nti for God and my country tubeere strong, tulabe nti tuyimirira against these we are simply, actually, we are not simply underdeveloped, we are simply overexploited.
From the Hamid Chigundu story, in a second, behavioral assessment towards COVID-19 carried out by Uganda Bureau of Statistics, there has been a drastic decline in the reported prevalence of self-practices, as very many Ugandans seem unbothered about COVID-19, yet we're just from reading the COVID-19 updates. Now, the report also indicates the shift in the business and agricultural sector under the COVID-19 impact. Let's look at that story.
Among other findings in Uganda Bureau of Statistics report is the increase in the number of people joining the agriculture sector during COVID-19. When Ugandans had just heard about COVID-19, there was compliance towards the measures put in place by the Ministry of Health, unlike currently, as majority of Ugandans seem less concerned about the pandemic.
We went to find out whether they were actually doing what they knew this time around. In the previous round, we established that many households knew that or were practicing hand washing with soap. But this time around, we found that there is a decline in the numbers that were abiding by that. People knew that they needed to avoid handshakes, and indeed, in June and that period around, people avoided shaking hands.
Henry Mubiru Nsubuga, a senior statistician, adds that the economic situation has become worse as businesses have been characterized by increasing loans.
For them to continue, for them to cope with the various measures in place for the COVID outbreak, they had to borrow in order to survive. And we found that about 1 in every 5 households had to borrow to cope with COVID-19, but there was no variation in the urban or rural.
Despite a decline in most of the sectors, the agriculture sector has had a 10% increase in the number of people joining it.
Many households, 51% were depending on the agriculture sector before the lockdown, but the proportion depending on agriculture has increased. So there is greater dependence on the agriculture sector now than it was before. People in the service sector before had
Uganda Bureau of Statistics says the findings got from the survey are to guide them during the planning exercise. The Uganda High Frequency Phone Survey on COVID-19 started earlier on this year, assessing the impacts of COVID-19 measures, and will end in May next year. Numbers of COVID-19 measures decline as usual business resumes. In a survey carried out by Uganda Bureau of Statistics, UBOS, there is a fall in COVID-19 measures as deaths increase. Shamira Nagawa, STV Select News.
Well, thank you, Shamira Nagawa, for that report. Now, moving forward to our sports segment, Joshua Cheptegei's 5,000-meter record is finally official. It wasn't until Wednesday, 75 days after it was set in Monaco. Cheptegei is the first Ugandan to set 4 world records, 5 if the 10,000-meter is ratified.
Cheptegei is the first Ugandan to set 4 world records, 5 if the 10,000 meters record is ratified. Joshua Cheptegei's 5,000 meters record is finally official. It wasn't until Wednesday, 75 days after it was set in Monaco. Cheptegei had little doubt his 12 minutes 35 seconds mark would be ratified, but the IAAF confirmation process is always liable to a surprise, worst of all, a failed post-race drugs test. The debate over the Nike Zoom X Dragonfly shoes Cheptegei wore for his subsequent 10,000-meter record-shattering display in Valencia, for instance, shows the provocative nature of a new world record. Despite the approval of the IAAF, critics have maintained that the shoes, which contain a full-length plate and a revolutionary form known as paybacks, give runners an unusual advantage. The IAAF, though promising to look into the matter, will not be expected to take the shoe argument into consideration. John Akibwa was the first Ugandan to break a world record, this in the 400 meters hurdles at the 1972 Olympics, and it often seemed like he would be the only one for many years to come, until Cheptegei broke the world record of the 5,000 meters. Tini Rukabwe, STV Select Sports News.
That's not all in our sports segment. We'll be moving forward to discuss Jagon Club's side, which was rocked by Pablo Farno's early strike at Anfield as the West Ham midfielder punished a poor header from Joe Gomez in the 10th minute. Diogo Jota kept Liverpool's dramatic fight back as the Premier League champions beat West Ham 2-1 to move 3 points clear at the top.
Diogo Jota capped Liverpool's dramatic fight back as the Premier League champions beat West Ham 2-1 to move 3 points clear at the top, while Manchester City and Chelsea both won to keep in touch with the leaders on Saturday. Jurgen Klopp's side were rocked by Pablo. Elsewhere, Manchester United lost to Arsenal in an emphatic match at the Old Trafford. Arsenal's goal came through skipper Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from a spot kick after United's Paul Pogba brought down Bergwijn in the Reds' box. Tini Rukabwe, STV Select Sports News.
Thank you, Tini Rukabwe, for that story. Now, on that note, we come to the end of Select News, awaiting tomorrow's nominations that will entail FDC's Amriat Oboy together with the new president, that is Chagulanyi, who will also be nominated tomorrow. And we're waiting to see what the day will be like as we get analysis from the team that will be there with you from morning to the time that the nominations come to an end. Now, my name is Latifa Hamid. Take care of yourself and stay tuned to STV. Have yourself a good night.